Chapter 3 The Master Tinker. An hour later, Russell sighed. He was nearly finished. Just a bit more. The boy stuck out his tongue in concentration. Agatha snorted. "You're talking to yourself again, and your tongue's out." "Shut it," Russell muttered. "You shut it," the 10-year-old retorted. "I think I'm done. Well, maybe just one more tweak." "Good for you," Russell said flatly. "I, on the other hand, am not." Agatha leapt off her stool, leaving her arm on the workbench. "Let me help. Fat chance. Come on, Rusty. Once this is finished, life is made for us." Russell rolled his eyes. Not that nonsense again. The apprentice focused his eyes on the work before him, ignoring the sting of the flickering candlelight on his tired eyes. He badly needed spectacles, but Clem would never consider it, not even if they had the money for them. "You can't spend your life pounding on forks and spoons when we've got this in the back room," Agatha cried, her head bobbing up and down comically. She lowered her voice and added, "It's a time machine." Russell rolled his eyes. "For the last flippin' time, it's not a—" Agatha snorted. "Of course it is." The girl's head popped up and she leaned over the tailpiece that Russell was desperately trying to attach. Her mussy hair spilled onto her cousin's lap, making him groan. "Ugh, get off." "See here," she continued, disappearing from view. Russell craned his neck around just in time to see Agatha slide onto the seat of the contraption. "See? The dials mark the days and the toggles mark the years." "It's just a dumb piece of junk that Barkley inherited. You're mad as hops, Agatha." She let out another giggle, making Russell roll his eyes. "Not as mad as you." "Quite right. I've got limited time to finish this up. If I don't, Barkley's gonna—" Russell's sentence was cut short by the sound he'd been dreading, a grotesque creak of the worn hinges. "Blast!" Russell breathed. "Hey, get down!" he hissed. To his relief, his cousin obliged. Russell barely had time to puff out the candle before a strong baritone bellowed from the front of the shop. "What the blazes is going on in here?" Russell's eyes grew wide. He would be seen. He would be seen for sure. And then, blam! He'd be dead. "I tried to keep this hidden from him, but who was I kidding?" Russell gulped. He was bound to look sooner or later, and now I don't have time to cover it up. "Brattle, you in here after hours again? I bloody told you to keep out of me shop after hours." Well, Russell thought, there's no hiding from him now. The boy cleared his throat and then coughed. He hoped this minor interruption would buy him a few seconds to sum up a half-assed explanation as to why the tail end of his master's old machine had been knocked clean off. Russell glared in the direction of his cousin. Who else to screw up an apprenticeship, albeit a lousy one, than a ruddy 10-year-old? "Brattle, I want you out of me shop in the count of 10. 1, 2... Russell wondered why Barkley had decided to come down here at 5:30 in the damned morning. Last night was drinking night. Barkley should be passed out at home. Of course, sir. Right away. I've got patrons coming in a half hour, boy. 6, 7... Russell gently deposited the screwdriver on the nearest table. Patrons? They were coming early? But the contraption... "Here, sir," Russell assured his master as he followed the candlelight to the front of the shop. Barkley kept on counting, however, faster and faster, not even bothering to say his steamboats in between. The young tinker barely made it out of the ramshackle shop before Barkley reached the double digits. "Save up, boy, and maybe someday you'll make it out of here alive," Barkley sneered. "Bloody apprentice, I should fire you right here and now. Empty your pockets." Russell swallowed back a groan. Had he remembered to replace all the equipment? And what's more, how long would it take for Barkley to realize that the contraption was broken? There was no time left. The patrons would be here soon. "I'm in deep," the boy mused, "and how am I going to get Agatha out now?" Russell had almost forgotten about his cousin. She was still sunk deep down in the seat of the machine. She couldn't possibly escape without making noise. "Turn them out," Barkley commanded again, and Russell did as he was told. A coin clinked against the stone, and the master tinker was quick to snatch it up. "Shame on you, boy. Get on home." Russell turned away, seething. "I'll make sure your auntie gives you a good beating for this," his master called after him. "Awake at this time of the morn. Imagine that." He muttered to himself, lighting his pipe. The master tinker turned back into his shop, perhaps to ensure that Russell hadn't damaged or stolen anything, like that would ever happen. But soon he'd be blamed for it, and there was nothing he could do about it. The 16-year-old ducked down at the side of the shop, listening in to make sure nothing of consequence happened. namely Barclay's discovery of a small, dusty girl sitting on the seat of his prized machine and wearing his rusted goggles. Barclay mumbled to himself for a few moments, and Russell held his breath. Then the moment he'd been dreading finally came. "Brattle!" the master tinker screamed at the top of his lungs. "What have you done to me machine?"